Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's happening, everybody? I hope you guys are doing great today. Today's Friday, man. What's up? Yeah, well, today's another great day, man. Good day to be alive. I'm excited to, jump into this video with you guys and share a little something with y'all. So, before we get started, if you would, please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer for the attitude still suffers. So, if you would, a moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty, well, I'm going to put this mic up here because today we're going to continue on the reading of the Cosmic Power Within You, Chapter 5. Yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade these for these, and we're going to get started, man. So what's up? Hope you guys are doing great. But anyway, I'm going to jump right into it. So today's chapter is chapter 5, and it is called How to Use the Cosmic Healing Power. It goes like this. All over the world today, men and women of all creeds are awakening to tremendous therapeutic results following the applications of mental and spiritual laws. In the fields of medicine, psychiatry, psychology, and other related fields, evidence is being adduced and articles written and the destructive effect of mental and emotional conflicts behind various diseases. When the conscious mind of the sick person redirects his subconscious mind along God-like channels, and a cleansing takes place and the infinite healing presence is released, causing the miracle of healing to occur. Goes on to say how a crippled hand was healed. States, the following is a verbatim testimonial of the response of an infinite healing presence when you call upon it. Dear Dr. Murphy, I broke my left wrist and the bones in my wrist and hand were so shattered that the doctor had to set them under a fluoroscope. I was told my hand would be crippled and I would have to learn to compensate with my other hand. Since I do secretarial work, I must have a use of both hands. The healing power mended and renewed the bones and muscles. In 3.5 months, I was back at work. During that time, I had repeated feeling many times a day the creative intelligence which made my wrist is healing me now. The doctor had told me I would have arthritis in my wrist and that a change of weather would cause it to ache. That was 7 years ago. Today I have full use of my hand, no arthritis to the change of weather, and makes no difference. In fact, my left wrist and hand are more flexible and nimble than my right hand. Again, I thank you for the prayers and instructions on how to use the healing power within me. Sincerely, Mrs. MDB. Goes on to say, I might add to this lady's letter by pointing out that she has thorough knowledge of the conscious of subconscious mind and is a deep student of the power of your subconscious mind. She realized that the spiritual therapy is the synchronized, harmonious, and intelligent function of the conscious and subconscious levels of mind, specifically directed for a definite purpose. You will notice that she completely rejected the prognosis of a crippled wrist and affirmed with deep understanding that infinite intelligence which created her head was healing it. These ideas sank into her subconscious mind and the healing followed. That's powerful. Okay, next says, how cosmic power healed a diseased kidney and a broken bone. The following is a letter, a wonderful woman who understands the healing power resident in the cosmic mind. Dear Miss Dr. Murphy, you have helped me so many times. It's hard to select the most important occasion. I recall being in terrible pain, and when our family physician was away on vacation, two strange doctors told me I had, I had a cyst on the right ovary and an abscess of a kidney. I prayed and the pain disappeared overnight, and an examination showed the abscess of the cyst had disappeared. I claimed God's healing love in my subconscious mind in this moment, dissolving everything unlike itself. I felt the truth of this and the miracle happened. I know you prayed also, and I thank you. The most wonderful demonstration was for my mother. When she was 85, she fell and broke her pelvic bone and shoulder blade. The pneumonia set in, and the doctor did not think she would live. And if she did, she would not walk again, but would have to be in a wheelchair. She said, that's his opinion. And through faith and your prayers, she was walking again in 3 months without even the use of a cane. Of course, you may use our names. Mother was Bertha Sparrow, signed Mrs. Erica B. Marler, Los Angeles, California, 9004. The cosmic healing power, and you can use it. The true method of spiritual healing does not lie in some magic wand waving, but rather in the mental response of man to the indwelling cosmic power which created him and all things in the world. Spiritual healing is not the same as faith healing. A faith healer may be a person who heals without any knowledge or scientific understanding of the powers of the conscious and the subconscious mind. He may claim that he has some magical gift in healing, and the sick person's blind belief in him or his powers may bring results. The spiritual therapist must know what he is doing and why he is doing it. He trusts the law of healing. The law of mind is that whatever you impress on your subconscious mind will be expressed in like manner as form, function, experience, and events. Impress your subconscious with thoughts of peace, harmony, health, and perfection by dwelling sincerely in these concepts. With interest, your thought and feeling interest will induce a healing response from the cosmic power. I mean, let me pause right there for a second. That particular story, I mean, the way I believe that is just right on point. I believe that, and because, I might be a little biased here, but I'm just that much into the healing powers through the mind. And I guess more so because I've had brain surgery done, you know what I mean? And at one point in time in my life, I couldn't walk. And had I not been so persistent, had I not been so animated in my chanting and in my asking of what I wanted and screaming and chanting and praying on a daily basis to the divinity and the cosmic powers of Mother Earth, that, everything I did at that particular, moment in time was on a positive note. It was on a positive and spiritual and cosmic note that this is what I want. I'm projecting this out. I'm asking you. I'm asking my higher power. I'm asking the divinity. I'm asking the power of the realm of Mother Earth, wherever my divinity, wherever my higher power is, roaming around somewhere out there, that when I chant those things out, that it eventually gets to whoever it needs to get to. It eventually gets to that part of the, for me, it just means I kind of think about it as these particles just going around and getting to finally this place where it just transforms and it re-electrifies itself and comes back. Almost like a boomerang in a sense, you know what I mean? You throw this stuff out there and that sucker will whip around to wherever it needs to go and it comes back and it comes right back to you. You know what I'm saying? That, to me, that is a powerful story right there. I like that one. Okay, we'll move on. It says, how the cosmic power heals a tailor's blindness. Recently, I interviewed a tailor who was gradually going blind. He had several retinal hemorrhages, and his doctor had suggested that he give up tailoring and live in the country. He stayed with his work, and his sight was growing worse. His doctor, an old friend of mine, suggested to the tailor that he talk to me about his home life. In discussing his eyes, the tailor admitted to me that he hated the sight of his mother-in-law, who had lived in his home for several years and was habitually petulant, crotchety, cantankerous, and a source of endless trouble. So I suggested that he ask her to leave at once. Once he did, at the same time, he wished for her all the blessings of life, thereby eradicating all the resentment and hostility from his subconscious mind. For 10 or 15 minutes every day, he affirmed boldly, by day and by night, I am seeing more and more of God's love, light, truth, and beauty in every person and in everything. God is healing me now, and I give thanks for my perfect vision. In due course, I received the following note from him. Dear Mr. Murphy, I am writing you to thank you for the healing of my eyes. You opened my eyes when you explained to me that I was the cause of my own eye trouble. My doctor said my vision is normal now and I don't have to give up tailoring. God bless you, E.S. Next story goes on to say 20th century miracles of healing. A miracle is not a violation of natural law. A miracle does not prove that which is possible, that which is impossible. It proves that which is possible. A miracle is something that happens when one brings in a higher law than those which man has known heretofore. Goes on to next story. So it goes on to say how the cosmic power resolved a writer's manuscript problem. The following paragraphs are taken verbatim from Mrs. Arnold's letter, showing how she used the healing principles to resolve a frustration. She had spent a great deal of time and care in writing a manuscript, but she felt the title was completely wrong. Dear Dr. Murphy, for several weeks I have been writing down titles, scratching them out and trying them again. Sunday I had a strong compulsion to get to church, which I had to hurry to do as household duties, etc., had made me somewhat late in getting started. When I got into the Bell Theater, I sat down quietly, relaxed, and said to myself, I know and I believe that today the God self will give me a title for my manuscript. It was not until you said during the course of the lecture, intellect cannot solve the problems with which people are faced today, that I realized, in spite of my statement of belief to myself, I was still trying to solve it on the conscious level. The title then popped into my mind like a piece of toast out of a toaster. As you have often said, I knew it was absolutely right and exactly fitted what I am trying to say in the manuscript. I was so elated I could have laughed out loud. It was so simple, the impossible made possible. The reliance of the subconscious is, I won't reveal the title even to you, dear Dr. Murphy, but it was just what I needed to renew my enthusiasm to work on the manuscript, and I don't want to weaken that feeling nor effectiveness of the answer by talking too much about it. Suffice it to say, I am most grateful, sincerely, Mrs. J. R. Arnold, Los Angeles, California. Goes on to say, Mrs. Arnold realizes and knows that this cosmic healing power works in your business or professional world just as well as it does in the healing of the body. Next story goes on to say how a school teacher healed her ulcer and achieved a promotion. It says, the following is a letter from a school teacher. Dear Dr. Murphy, for months I have been praying for a healing and for success in my profession. I attended your lecture one Sunday morning about a month ago at the Wilshire Abel Theater when you spoke how to use the healing power. As you spoke, I realized that I had been unconsciously rehearsing my aches and pains and constantly rehearsing my troubles in the classroom with my principal. I was in the habit of criticizing and blaming the pupils, the parents, and the school authorities. I was also in the very bad habit of criticizing and condemning myself for being ill. I felt sure that my desire to be promoted would fail. It seemed to me that throughout your lecture you were talking to me. Yet I knew that you didn't know I was in the audience of 1,300 people. Before your lecture was over, I became aware of the fact that I had been actually squandering the treasures of life within me on negative thoughts and imagery, and that were positively destructive. I followed your instructions and began to identify the infinite healing presence within me. And I affirmed frequently with deep understanding the meditation you suggested. And it goes like this. It says, God has given me the fear. No, it says, I'm sorry, let me read that again. The prayer goes like this. God hath given me the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I have a firm, unwavering faith in God and my bountiful, ever-present good. I am vitalized, energized, healed, and made whole. Promotion is mine now. I radiate love and goodwill to all my pupils, my associates, and all those around me. And from the depths of my heart, I wish for all of them peace and joy, happiness, the intelligence of wisdom of God animated and sustained all those in my classes at all times. I am illuminated and inspired when I am tempted to think negatively. I will immediately think of God's healing love. I want to thank you for the lecture. I have had a perfect healing of my ulcers, and I have received a promotion and have established a very harmonious relationship with all my associates and pupils. I understand the reason for all this. The fact that children in my class have constantly picked up my new mood of love, goodwill, and confidence as I constantly exude vibrancy and joy. Yours very truly, ERB. Nice story. Okay, the next story goes like this. It's titled, How a 5-Word Formula Healed Epilepsy. It goes like this. The following interest letter was received while I was writing this chapter. Dear Dr. Murphy, I listen to your radio program every morning. This morning, I heard you read a letter from a radio listener about a wonderful healing which she had. May I tell you about the marvelous healing which I had? It has been nearly 4 years since I had an attack of epilepsy. I never knew that what caused the seizures. I had been talking about 3 or 4 grains of phenobarbital every day and was sleepy all the time. One morning on radio, you discussed some psychocosmetic research work on epilepsy, saying that suppressed emotions, intense hatred, and hostility toward parents often were causative factors. This was true in my case. I began to pray systematically, pouring out love and goodwill toward my parents until I could meet them in my mind and peace and be at peace. Every night and morning for about 6 months, I repeated slowly, God is healing me now. One morning, I knew I was healed. As a tremendous feeling of joy welled up within me, I stopped taking the drug and went to my doctor. He conducted the usual brain tests. All were negative. That was almost 4 years ago. The 5-word formula, God is healing me now, you gave on the radio sank into my soul. I am eternally grateful. It was so true that the suppressed negative electricity have a negative outlet, and it was expressed as epilepsy in my case. It is true that love is the great healer. Sincerely yours, JDM. The law of belief and how to use it. The law of life is the law of belief. And the belief could be briefly summoned up as a thought in your mind. To believe is to accept something as true. Whatever your conscious reasoning mind accepts as true engenders a corresponding reaction from your subconscious mind, which is one with infinite intelligence within you. Your subconscious mind works through the creative law which responds to your nature of your thought, bringing about conditions, experiences, and events in the image of likeness of your habitual thought patterns, proving the truth stated so succinctly in the Bible, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And there you go. That's chapter 5. So, gosh, man, that was a pretty cool chapter, I think. It was pretty powerful. Oh, my God. Broke this camera. Sorry about that. Okay, well, let's just go back to summarize a little bit of what we read. And, man, you know what? I'm in awe, I guess, of the stories that I just read you, and because, man, it's just like, how many times do we in today's day and age go through our day in this negative sense? Like, as soon as you get in your car, perhaps we'll use that as an example. When you're driving to work, you're driving, getting there, just, kind of like on the defensive in a sense, making sure nobody's going to cut you off, or, trying to hurry up so you can hit this, light, and if you don't, then you're a little irritated that you missed it, or that the person in front of you decided to slow down and stop when they could have probably made it, or perhaps you get up, say like, oh my God, I got to go to work again today. This sucks. I'm tired. Or perhaps you're, oh my God, I got to get all these kids ready, and it's just like, oh my God, or man, I hope my husband or is not nagging today, or I hope my wife, is not going to be a bee today, or whatever, you know what I mean? And you're just, man, you're just pissed off as soon as you get to work, or or maybe you're just so depressed right now that you're just like, oh man, this sucks. I wish I wasn't here, or why does my life got to be like this? And when you're going through your day like that, I mean, those are the kind of things that you're projecting out into the universe. Those are the things that that's your thought process. You know what I mean? Your thought process is filled with nothing but fearful, negative, and just bad karma. And that's basically the bottom line. You know what I mean? That's what you're projecting out. And gosh, I mean, we have, it's scientifically proven that there's like between 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day that your mind is going through. Can you imagine? It's just like flipping through these pages, just like boo, 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 all these things that you think about, and the ones that that you're allowing into your subconscious mind are all these negative and fearful ones. You know what I mean? It's just like, gosh, you got a variety. You got 80,000, 60,000 things to pick from, and you choose these four? You know what I mean? You choose the one about, your coworkers suck, or, my mom's being a B, or my dad sucks, or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're just choosing those when you got this whole vast of other options. You know what I mean? Why choose such negativity and darkness when you can choose things of spirituality, love, and happiness and joy? And when you're projecting those things towards somebody and out into the universe, well, guess what? That's exactly what you're going to get back. You know what I mean? A positive and a positive ain't equaling no negative. I can guarantee you that. You know what I mean? That's not happening. Now, negatives and negatives, yeah, you're going to get more negative out of it. That's all day long. But you and me, we both, you and I, have the ability to pick and choose what we allow into our subconscious mind. Therefore, we have the ability to remap the way we think, the way we have the ability to just map our life however the hell we want to, and we can land in paradise just like this thing behind me. You know what I mean, Kyle? Imagine that. You know what I mean? It's just beautiful to think that way. And so that's the message for today, man. So you go out and you guys have a good weekend, man, and praise God and the divinity and everything positive in our world. You know what I mean? It's great to be alive, man, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to sit here and share a message with you guys. You know what I mean? And not be out in the darkness of myself personally was, I was bound down to the world of addiction and quite a few other traumatic brain injury diseases and stuff like that. But nonetheless, man, today, man, my mind thinks beautiful, just like this picture behind me. You know what I mean? And that's what I project to people, to the world, is that I want everybody to heal. I want everybody to be happy, because I know that it's possible, because I'm living proof of that you can go from being in the dark world of addiction and being homeless and being just, bound down to this struggle, that you can get out of it, man. And it's good feeling. It's good feeling to be alive, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I don't intend to waste it on negative and bad things. So I appreciate you guys watching my videos, man. If you would please at this time, thumbs up, share my channel, subscribe to my channel, and share it with somebody, man. That's the only way that we're going to be able to help anybody, is to spread a message of positivity, spirituality, and recovery, man. So I greatly appreciate you guys watching, and I guess until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.